Episode 8, 5-1 Video Games.
I wanna be the very best that no one ever was.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of 5-1, the best hour of your day and the best list podcast in existence. 5-1 is all about the countdown from our panel of experts on a different topic each week. Today we are featuring the best video games in our style of counting down from 5-1. Say hi, guys.
Sup.
All right, up, down, left, right, B-A, select start.
Yeah.
If either of you can tell me what that is from, I will give you $10 right now.
Oh, that's
It's a cheat on a
console. I know. My friend told me. Eli told me it. It's
I would not make this offer to any male over the age of 30 because I'd almost definitely lose my money.
Is it Nintendo?
Yes, but you got to tell me the game. Time's up. It's from an arcade and a Nintendo classic, Contra.
Oh, I knew.
Unfortunately, my copy was stolen, or I'd thoroughly school you guys on how to play and beat Contra, and its sequel, Super C.
Oh yeah, Contra, that game you said that was awesome.
Yeah.
But you got stolen.
Well, the first step to beating Contra is by entering that code I just mentioned above, which grants you 30 lives instead of the standard 3.
Oh
Wow. I already do that. My friend Eli told me he'd like memorize it, so he still plays Contra.
Contra is an awesome game, and that code, I mean, everybody from my age and near my age knew that code for sure. For the listeners, the reason I'm the only panelist today that knows the not-so-secret code for Contra is because I'm the only panelist over the age of 30, right?
Yeah.
I'm Johnny Cage Chris, and I am 35 years old to be precise.
I don't know what I am yet.
Well, joining me for the 5-1 countdown today are my two prodigiously dexterous video game expert sons, my 12-year-old Shao Kahn Kade.
Hi.
And my 9-year-old Jax Jett.
Oh.
Did you get the theme there?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
of course
Jax.
you did. You guys know way more about Mortal Kombat than I do at this point.
At least the new ones.
I didn't want to use Johnny Cage for my name because he's kind of a tool bag of a character.
Yes.
But there weren't any other hard C options that I could think of. There's lots of Ks, though. I saw lots of them. How about Liu Kade? Kado?
Yeah.
Cade Tana? Cade Lau? Cade Taro?
That's a lot.
Cade Million?
Well, Mortal Kombat, they spell...
Even the combat is
yeah.
spelled with a K.
They do everything with a K.
Yeah.
Like, even like in the settings control section, like look at the controls of the game.
It says K controls with a
control.
K. Yeah. So there were lots of K options. There weren't a whole lot of J's either, Jett, but I did find Jax. You okay with your name?
Yeah.
All right.
Couldn't think of a better one.
Well, video games have been a huge part of most male lives my age and younger. That's not to exclude females by any means, which is a growing demographic within the gaming community. The gaming systems have evolved to become some of the most technologically advanced graphics and computer systems available on the market and have become a new way to connect with people around the world. You guys talk with your friends all summer playing games.
Yeah, I've talked with probably
thousands
of people. Random people.
I don't even really talk to anybody. I just play different games that Kade doesn't usually play.
I'm kind of glad that you don't talk to people a lot, Jett, because I hear a lot of the language that goes on in there, and it's not appropriate for kids. So that part bothers me a little bit about the online community. But you guys are very...
There's always a mute.
There's always mute. And you guys are careful about not giving out any personal information about who you are, where you're from, or anything like that. So you've been educated on how to communicate appropriately. Yeah, but for younger kids, sometimes common sense isn't the same thing as it is for adults. But video games also provide an outlet to tell stories, and some of those stories are pretty awesome, enough to have some games adapted into screenplays for movies. It's also a fun way to live the story, since the player gets to experience the game as a protagonist or the main character in the story. Other games don't have story, but they have lots to offer in the way of entertainment, competition, and challenge. So there's lots of aspects that make a video game good in a lot of people's eyes, and they could be great in one area and lack in another. So I'm curious to see what you guys picked for your list. Kade, I think that you are probably the most qualified expert on our panel today to talk about video games, at least in the latest iteration of consoles, new games.
Yeah.
What is your video gaming experience?
I've been gaming since I was very little. Ever since you bought me the Wii that one day. How old was I then?
Oh gosh, you were probably about 5. That's actually that Wii. It was a huge demand.
I know.
back
I know
then.
it was giant.
Everybody wanted one, and everybody was sold out. Do you remember how I got that?
You had a camp, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I had to find out when the next delivery shipment was coming into Best Buy, and it was on a Sunday. Best Buy doesn't open until
I think you got
10.
it when he was 7 because that means I was 4.
And everything happened when you were 4.
Yeah.
We lived in Kade. That would have been in 2007 to 2008, which would have made you 3 to 4, Kade. And Jett, you would have been 1 to 2. But I found out when the shipment was coming in on a Sunday. I got there at about 5:30 in the morning, and I camped out for 4.5 hours. The line, by the time the store opened, was wrapped around the side of the building.
Was it fun camping?
No, I was all by myself, and it was cold, and I didn't have a
My teacher told
smartphone
me-
yet.
How were you cold?
Because it was like February, I think.
You're never
My teacher
cold.
told me a story about when she camped to get a Wii. She was really happy. It got stolen, though,
Oh, that's no good.
2 days after she got it.
So you basically started playing when we got the Wii. I would actually say it was a little bit later than that because you were really
Too little.
But what else? What other video game consoles and
I played a bit of PC. Actually, I played a lot of PC, but not very different games with PC. I don't usually play the popular games with PC, but I play a lot of popular games for other consoles, not PlayStation. I'm an Xbox person.
You don't play games on PC.
I used to, and I played a little bit when my friend when Hayden came over. So my cousin.
Jett, for years you mostly played the same games as your brother, but you've started to venture off into your own area lately. In addition to what Kate said, would you say that YouTubers have influenced your gaming experience?
Almost definitely.
Well, I'm asking Jett.
Yeah.
How so?
It's just because when I watch them when they're having so much fun and they're laughing, I'm like,
That game looks like it might be fun.
yeah, I want to try that.
Yeah,
That's
I've
how I
noticed
got-
because when you put together a Christmas list or a birthday list, it's often games that I've heard you or seen you watching on some YouTube channel where guys are talking about it.
And so when they're doing something really cool, and I wish I could do it. That's how I got into WWE. Actually, I watched this YouTuber. His name is H2O Delirious, and he played a little bit of WWE. And when I first got WWE 2K16, and then I started to check out WWE some.
Yeah, I've noticed you watching a lot of the NK too. You started watching Vanoss a long time ago, and you were really into Vanoss. You got a Vanoss cell phone case and a T-shirt and all that. Yeah. Also, one aspect that you guys, I don't know if you thought about this for your list or not, but you've also played a lot of app games on the iPad and the It started with the iPod Touch before you guys had phones, and then you got phones, and then we got an iPad.
My all-time favorite iOS game. It's not on my list though. It's just definitely Geometry Dash. Game's amazing.
Is that the one with the music?
That is not true. That is for sure not the best game.
Well, what is the best game then?
I'm not really sure, but it's for sure
But
not.
it's for sure not the one your brother said because you can't possibly agree with your brother.
That's how brothers are. They can't really agree.
Why?
It's just because he's a brother and I'm a brother. That's just what we're supposed to do.
I got you. I never had a brother. Well, I do have a brother. I never lived with a brother. I have a half brother that lives in Houston, but I only lived with my sister growing up, and you know what? We never really agreed either. So I can't fault you too much for that. But our listeners might be starting to see a pattern here in our podcast because, like some of our other 5-to-1 countdowns, my list and experience is a bit old school.
Yeah.
I've played the Xbox One a handful of times, and that was mostly just to kick both of your butts in Mortal Kombat X when we first got it.
I beat you
When
a few
we
times.
first got it.
No, you beat him.
I was undefeated when we first got it.
As I got more experience, I became undefeated. In personal gameplay, I became 5,000 in the world and number 3,000 in the world with Scorpion.
Let me just put it this way. The last time we played, you guys both beat me. once or twice each, but I still won the majority of them. Now, if I played you again, I'm sure I would get owned, but maybe that's why I don't play anymore.
Well, here, we don't play either. And also, I'm not that good at Mortal Kombat X. I'm not saying I'm good at Mortal Kombat 9, but I'm better at Mortal Kombat 9. Because last time we played it together, I beat Kade, then I beat Dad.
Yeah.
And then we faced a lot of times Dad, and I beat you a lot of times.
No, I only lost a couple times, and then I walked out. I won my last one, and I left. What I've noticed is Kade is good about learning the combos, and he's pretty good at using them. You are really good at just hand fighting without using combos.
Yeah, I use combos, but I mostly just...
And you drive your brother crazy because he thinks all you do is the same thing, and then your brother drives you crazy because he uses combos that you weren't dexterous enough to figure it out back then with your fingers.
Well, now I do not combos because every character has this special combos, either with fire, ice, or something. They have instead of I do the normal attacks now, but there's hundreds of different normal attacks like BBX or something like that. It's not something crazy using the controller sticks.
Yeah.
So it's mostly just using the buttons.
The buttons, yeah.
So it's
well, we're going to talk about that more because one of my choices delves into that a bit. But outside of my console experience, that is really limited to anything past the PS2, and really the bulk of my experiences with Super Nintendo and the 8-bit Nintendo, the first Nintendo that came out. With a couple of PC games sprinkled in. But, okay. You guys, let's just start on our list.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'll go first.
All right. Yeah, I'll go last. So we'll go Kade, Jett, Chris. Got it? Mm-hmm. All right, Kade, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is GTA 5.
Okay.
Because I love this game. I had a tough time putting it together on my list because, I was thinking about putting it higher, but then I realized how important the games were to me and how much I took of a break of GTA 5 after I played it for a little while, took a big break, and then I came back when they added more stuff, and I had no idea what to do then, but I got the hang of it now. It's a really fun game. It's probably it's one of the biggest games of the 21st century. It's probably the biggest game where it's not centered onto the story as much as it is to the multiplayer and free mode gameplay. You can do whatever you want in the game. Arm wrestling, racing, robbing banks,
running over
tennis.
Yeah.
Scaling walls and ATVs.
Yeah, scaling walls and ATVs.
It's also, speaking of GTA 5, I'm going to get mods today, and you can do anything you imagine. GTA
Is that
5.
on your list, Jett?
Yeah, it's number 1.
Oh, wow. Okay, so if you want to save, it for then? Yeah. Okay. I looked, when I did I knew what games I wanted to put on my list, but I pulled them up to do some research to make sure I didn't forget anything about those games. And I was surprised that of my list, 4 out of the 5 were some of the most highest ranked video games of all time. And I found this, it's on Wikipedia, that what they do is they take all of the different rankings, your IGN rankings and all of them, and they counted how many times all the games were on all of the list and made an overall list.
Yeah.
Okay. And 4 out of my 5 games were in the top 15. So I was surprised by that. Another thing I was surprised by is because I know how popular GTA 5 is. GTA 4 and GTA 3 are both ranked ahead of GTA 5 when you look at all these all-time lists. Now, I know sales-wise, GTA 5 is king. But when you're looking at rankings of critics, 3 and 4 were actually ranked higher. Now, when I was in, I think, high school, man, video games were way more rudimentary than they are now, especially on the PC. But
I don't agree.
Grand Theft Auto, rudimentary means basic.
Oh.
Grand Theft Auto came out. It was called Grand Theft Auto, and man, it looked very, very different from the game that you guys play. But I remember my friend Lane had a pirated copy, and you know what those 3.5-inch floppy disks look like? They're like, like the save button that you click.
Yeah,
they look like that, except in real life. They're about this big.
I know what they are.
Okay,
I don't.
Not that 21st century.
It doesn't matter.
But it came on those because we didn't have CD-ROMs yet or DVD-ROMs, and it was on 20 of those discs. And we had to put one in, wait for that part to install, pop the disc out, put the next disc in, wait for that one to install. It took forever, and it was a fun game. I remember stealing cars and running over people, and it's basically the same game now, just with much better graphics.
And no, it has a better story mode also, and it has online, which is a lot better also. And that's it.
When you guys started asking for GTA 5 a couple years ago, and your mom and I were a little bit more strict about what we let you guys play. But
now we're no.
Eventually, when all of your friends had it, we caved in because we thought, okay, maybe we're being too strict if everybody else is letting them do it. And you guys are good about, we let you guys watch movies and play games that you shouldn't, but you don't like carry that behavior or language into real life, and that's why we let you do it. But even still, that game is pretty far out there, and what they let you do. And I've seen stories about people like in real life reenacting some of these things, and it's a little bit scary. But overall, I think really what it comes down to is how you parent, not what you let your kids watch and do. But anyway, that's for a different discussion. All right, Jett, what's your number 5?
Number 5 is Star Wars: The Old Republic. I don't really have much to say about it because I don't really remember it that much. It's just that I like games. I mean, I love video games, but I don't really like that much. Like, I don't like a lot of them. I only like 6 or something. But I love it. It's just I don't know that much video games I really like.
That's fine. You did play a lot of The Old Republic, and you still do. Like, you go through phases where you want to play it every day for a week, and then you won't play it again for a couple months. Kade's kind of the same way. I'm sure it's on your list somewhere.
I put it as number 2.
As number 2. I have it kind of as a side discussion for one of the ones on my list. But
can I save my discussion for later when I?
Yeah, you know what? I will too then, because it kind of rolls in together. That's a good choice though, because you did spend a lot of time. What I will say right now about that game, Jett, is you were really young, like when you started to play it. And you couldn't really, it's on the computer and it's a little bit harder to control with the keyboard. You didn't really know what you were doing. So what we would do is I would let Kade level up a character to like level 20 or something, high enough to where you could run around and fight people. You would
on a low planet.
Yeah, on a low level planet. You would run around and fight different enemies and animals that you could defeat. And you just were content doing that. Then eventually you wanted to actually play for real. So you started to, and you were
and I completed a story on one character.
Before you did, there were like, I don't know how many characters.
20 characters
yeah,
at
maybe,
least.
Yeah, where you would start them and you would get them to like level 25 and then you would delete them. And then you would start another one and get to level, and you would never finish the game and you would never level up to 60, which is the max level.
I finished it.
You did. And I remember when you did, I was shocked and I was like, wow, good job. So,
but I did not do like any side mission. Well, actually, yeah, I remember I did do a lot.
You did a lot of the side missions, and I think that game kind of taught you how to play video games, because that was the first game
kind of like that drove you to like, oh man, this is awesome. I really want to learn how to do this. And
it's actually Star Wars: The Complete Saga. The Lego.
That's the game that taught Kade how to play video games.
Yeah, but
definitely.
But I watched him, and then I didn't play any video games back then.
Well, for playing on your own, I would say The Old Republic taught you how to play games and how to progress and try to defeat a game and get better at it. Okay, my number 5 is StarCraft, which we talked about at GameStop today because we saw StarCraft 2 on the shelves. It's for the PC. Came out in 1998. I was a junior in high school. It's a real-time strategy game. I started playing this game during my junior year in high school when my friend Lane would invite me and a few others over to his house to play together. And this is the part that you guys might appreciate. We would all have to bring our PC with us, like the computer and the tower, the keyboard and the mouse. Bring it with us, and we connected them together using a LAN cable, a local area network cable, which is like an Ethernet cable. This was before online play was a big deal. Like, people didn't have broadband connections. You had a dial-up connection, which was very slow, and you couldn't. Playing online was a difficult thing if you didn't have a broadband connection. And it was before laptops were powerful enough to play games on. So we would all bring our computers over there and play against each other. I wasn't very good, but it was really, really fun. When I got to college, this was 2 years later, we had Ethernet, and online gaming had become a kind of a big thing.
Ethernet? This sounds silly.
It's basically when you have internet in your, like a building has internet. Like if you live in a dorm, like I did, there were 1,000 students in that dorm, and we all had a plug in our wall. We just plugged it to get our internet. It was called the Ethernet.
Is Google or Ethernet better?
That's not a relevant question. Ethernet is just getting you on the internet. Google is a website on the internet, like Facebook and Yahoo and CNN.com.
I guess so.
And Bing.
And Bing. Google is just a search engine.
I hate Bing.
Bing's definitely the best of all time. Totally.
Alta Vista. You guys don't even know what that is.
Firefox.
Now, Firefox is a browser, and that is still relevant. Google is a search engine. It's a website where you search for things on the internet. Yahoo used to be the biggest search engine, and there was Alta Vista and Ask Jeeves.
What about
I know
Wikipedia?
Wikipedia is a
I know Ask
encyclopedia.
Jeeves.
It's not a search engine.
Yeah.
All Google is, Jett, is a search tool. It lets you search the internet for things. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
It's just the most popular one.
Yeah, definitely.
And Microsoft's version of it is called Bing, and it's not nearly as powerful.
No one, half the people at my school don't even know Bing.
But so I moved into college, and my roommates, Brian, Jordan, and Jeff, were all really into StarCraft at this point, and I played with them quite a bit, though I was never into it as much as they were. They had online ladder rankings where you could, kind of like you were ranked in Mortal Kombat, Kade, you faced other people who were ranked, and you could go up higher in the rankings. And at one point, Brian was ranked pretty high, around 200 or something like that.
Yeah, when we watched you play, there's like those guys that were like way better than you, and you still took them out. You remember that? It's those golden ones.
Oh, okay. So you're just talking about, I wasn't playing another person, I was just playing the computer.
AI.
Playing. Oh, I thought you played against an online person.
No, I didn't. I just played against the computer.
AI.
But yeah, so it was such a big deal. These online, it was called BattleNet, where you would play StarCraft. It was a really, really big deal that in Korea, people made careers out of playing this game. Like, they got paid to play on TV.
Like League of Legends.
Okay, but this gaming is much bigger now than it was in 2000.
True.
This was revolutionary at the time. This game was huge. And
Now
it was also just outside of the online play, which was revolutionary. The gameplay was pretty revolutionary too. There were 3 races. The golden ones you were talking about, Jett, were Protoss. There were 2 others, and they were all very balanced. So you could pick any one of the 3 or be randomly assigned any one of the 3, and it didn't give you a huge advantage over your opponents. They were all very, very well balanced. And the story mode was really good too, and I played that as much as I did on BattleNet. Now, since we are discussing video games, I'm using cheat code for each one of my choices. My cheat code is I'm adding Galaga to my number 5. Because it also deals with battles in space, so it's kind of loosely related to StarCraft.
I put Galaga as my number 4, I think.
Well, the problem is I had way too many games that I could not leave off my list, so that's why I'm using cheat codes to add them to my list. So it's not very similar to StarCraft at all, but hey, it's a cheat code, so I can do whatever I want. Galaga was primarily an arcade game, which I played at CiCi's Pizza when I was a kid, Jett, and I loved it. At some point, I also owned the Nintendo version, which was a little easier to button mash than the arcade counterpart. Really cool gameplay, really cool sound effects, classic game. So that's my cheat code number 5.
Okay, so I guess we can roll into my number 4 now, because I put Galaga as my number 4.
Go ahead.
And the reason I put Galaga as my number 4 is because it's my favorite arcade game all time. No arcade game can beat it, okay? And during school, when we go on the computers and we go on a website, and she said, after you do this, you can go play this game she assigned us. It's not like an educational game, but me and some other friends that were pretty nerdy, that were pretty awesome, we get on Galaga and we play Galaga on this website that was unblocked. So, like, some games, most websites are blocked, like even like some simple websites, like, I don't know, YouTube or something are blocked. And we'd go on Galaga and we'd play Galaga instead of the game. And then when we walk over, we'd open up the other tab and it'd be another game. And never we were allowed to play games like whatever we want. I get on Galaga.
Galaga is really fun. Jett, have you ever played Galaga?
Yeah, I got like 20,000.
Was that when we were over at Riley's house?
Yeah,
and they
for the Christmas party.
Yeah, they have like a sit-down arcade where you can sit on opposite sides of the
Yeah, I
table.
think I got like
That's pretty
20,000.
Yeah, that was the kind that they had at CiCi's when I would go as a kid.
Oh.
They had it was like a sit-down table, and the middle part was glass, and it was like a TV inside, and I would play Galaga there. Really fun game. All right, Jett, what do you got for number 4?
My number 4 is Star Wars Battlefront. The graphics are absolutely amazing in that game.
Yeah, I gotta say though, they probably, out of all games I know, Star Wars Battlefront definitely has like the best graphics I know. Like,
Well, it's a pretty new game. It came out at the end of last year, right?
Yeah.
Like November of last year.
I don't know. It's either Grand Theft Auto 5 or Star Wars Battlefront.
I haven't played either one, but watching you guys play, the graphics on Battlefront do look better to me than GTA 5 does, but I might be biased because it's Star Wars and I'm familiar with the characters and the environments. But Yeah, I've never played. Well, I think I did play Battlefront for all of like 30 seconds with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, like
You were the one who like pre-ordered it, didn't you?
I did pre-order it. I was the thing is the original. There are 2 Battlefront games that came out before this one, and
I heard they were good, really good.
I've heard they were really good too, but I never played them. They were very popular, and I thought, well, this one got a lot of hype, and it was coming out right before 1 month before The Force Unleashed came out in theaters, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get into this game, and you guys are probably going to be into this game. The problem is I'm too much of an old man and I can't play games like that. Like it's just I haven't played on those controllers or in that type of what are those kind of games called, like a first person shooter type?
Yes.
Yeah.
or third person.
Well, this is you are the shooter, so this is a first person shooter. And I just don't. I'd have to play it for hours just to be able to be competent in it, and I don't have hours to devote to be competent. I wanted to play and be good right away because I don't have a lot of time to devote to video games. But it looks awesome when I watch you guys play. And
I gotta say, it's probably the easiest.
I just had an idea 30 seconds ago. These are the 3 original Empire and Republic characters. On the Republic side is Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Leia Organa. Organa, whatever. And the Empire side is
Vader,
Boba Fett, and Darth Sidious. So they added 2 new characters. I don't know how long ago. On the Empire side, it is
Dengar
and Greedo. On Republic, it is Lando and I forgot that other guy's name.
Nine Num.
Yeah,
Nine Num. But I figured they could have added a little bit better characters. For example, on the Galactic Empire side, they should add Darth Maul. I think would be sick.
But they already have a lightsaber wielding. I mean, they could add a ton of Jedi and Sith, but they want different types of characters.
Yeah, but
bounty hunters.
But if they do that, then they all have guns, and that's the same thing also.
But they're different guns, and you can't play that game without having some type of ranged weapon.
You can have a different colored lightsaber.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying,
and maybe when they add more, they will do that. Maybe when they add more, they can do that. But when they're initially adding characters, they're going to be different variety, so you have different options. Okay, Kate, do you have anything else to say about Battlefront?
No, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Okay, my number 4 is Lego Star Wars on the Wii.
Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
The Complete Saga, yeah. I think all of the Lego games are fun, and this one though always stands out to me and holds a special place for me because it's really the first game I played with Kade.
Oh my gosh, I love that. You come home from work, and then I'd be at the door. I'd be like, "Can you do one level?
Yeah,
just one level.
Just one level." That's right. You would always ask for one level. And Jett, you were really too small, but you would watch us.
Yeah, and I would enjoy it.
Yeah, and really, we could only really play at that when you were that age, Kade, if we played together, because part of the Lego games is like problem solving, and you had to be able to figure out what to do first before you could do the next step. And you were just so young that you were, at first you had a little trouble grasping that, but you got the hang of it very quickly. And then you were solving it faster than me pretty shortly. And by the time I stopped playing, you beat the whole game, and you took off on your own.
Sad.
You figured out all
Very
the secrets. And then all the other Lego games too, like Indiana Jones.
We have 3 billion coins.
Yeah, we have 3 billion coins. I'm pretty sure it's got to be like a world record, without hacking on the game or using some special cheat code that gives you coins. We earned all of those coins on our own.
Yeah,
all of them. Each level, going through again, getting all the purple coins, the blue coins, the silver and gold coins,
the ghost coins.
Ghost coins, yes.
Wait, what are the ghost coins?
When you follow a ghost, they leave coins in their path behind them.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I remember after I got this game, and then I don't know which one came out next. Was the I think it was the Harry Potter one I played next.
Yeah, I played that one with you a little bit.
Well, that was pretty fun.
I mostly remember playing the Complete Saga, the Star Wars game, and the Indiana Jones game. I remember playing a lot with you. And Harry Potter, we did play some.
Harry Potter's not...
They did change the Lego games a lot. They have new special controls, and I just wish they could back to the old type of game.
I think Star Wars: The Force Awakens Lego game is kind of like Complete Saga. I think it has the same controls.
You've added that to your list of games you want, haven't you? You told me at one point it was on your list.
For Christmas.
For Christmas. It's out right now, right?
Yeah, but like it's $60.
Yeah.
So.
And you can buy like a season pass for it, but
What does the season pass do?
I don't even know. They've never had a season pass for a game. You can buy like extra stuff for the game. Like they never had that in the complete saga. It's just you play the game, you unlock the characters, and you beat the game, and you can have fun doing whatever you want.
Yeah, but in the new one, you get freaking white Boba Fett, which is awesome.
Like the prototype
Yeah.
Boba Fett? Well, playing that game with you, Kade, reminds me of when I was a kid and I got a Nintendo, and I'll have to tell you this story at some point during this conversation. But my dad and I played Super Mario Brothers, the first one, together a lot, and we would challenge each other to try to beat each other's high scores.
Who won?
He was better than I was. And then eventually I passed him, and I was better, just the same way Kade got better. So it reminded me of that. And I like the Lego games because they're challenging enough, but they're still not too hard, and they're still fun. And they add a lot of humor to the games that it makes it very entertaining. Time for my cheat code. This is a bit of a stretch, but since Lego Star Wars involves figuring out puzzles to advance, I added Dr. Mario to this as a puzzle game. I could have also gone with Tetris, which is the more recognizable and acclaimed puzzle game, but I picked Dr. Mario because I played that with my mom when I was growing up, and really, how many kids get to play games with their mom? But she liked that game a lot. I didn't play for a long time, and then I went to college, and I was invited to a party, and they weren't my roommates yet. They were just my friends at this point, but they would become my roommates the next year, and they were playing this game. One of them had dug it out, and they all had been playing it for a while, and some of them were really good at it. I said, oh my gosh, I used to play this game with my mom. Well, after not playing for 10 years and also drinking over 10 beers, I still beat everyone there, and I'm pretty sure I'm basically unbeatable in this game. I might be the best player in the world. In single player mode, there are 20 levels, but once you get past level 20, you can continue to play. It's just repeating the same level. Yeah. Now, level 20 is really hard. I don't know if you remember this game, but there's like little bugs.
Yeah.
And level 20, they're almost at the very top, and it goes really fast right from the start. I once got to level 37. That means I beat level 20 17 consecutive times without dying. I think I might be a bit of a savant at this game because I've hardly played it, but I seem to have perfected it.
Have you memorized the first level?
No, I don't. There might be a way to memorize the patterns. I just am really good at reacting and moving the pills where they need to go quickly. Anyway, that's my cheat code for number 4. All right, Kade, what do you got for number 3?
Number 3, I put Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and this is the only Call of Duty I put.
Whoa. How is this not your number? Well, I could see how it's not your number 1, but your number 2 at least, I would think.
Number 2 is...
Well, don't tell me your number 2 yet, but I'm just very surprised this is number 3.
His number 2 is.
Do I?
Yeah, he already told you. It stars the Old Republic.
Okay, that's what I thought would be your number 1. Okay, well, I don't know what your number 1 is then, unless it's what you're playing right now.
Oh, I already know.
We'll save it. We'll save it. All right, so go ahead. Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2, I don't know how many hours I played on this game. I probably played in total over 3 days on this game.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You would stay up all night playing this game.
In fact, the longest time I stayed up was I stayed up for 2 days straight, and I played Black Ops 2 with my cousin the entire time, and I felt really sick, but it was totally worth it. And this game is so addictive. Okay, it didn't work for a long time, and I bought it not too long ago. Again, on the Xbox instead of a disc, so it doesn't get scratched. And this game was so addictive, and all my friends even say this. I leveled up so fast on that game compared to them. They got it before me, a year before me, and they've been playing it since. And then when I got it, I surpassed them in the month I played. I surpassed them, and now I am that game is the Call of Duty that takes the longest to level up. It takes forever to level up in that game, and there's 55 levels for 1 prestige, and there's 11 prestiges. I know if you're a Call of Duty fan, you say there's 10, but technically, once you get to 10, you have to go through a whole nother prestige to prestige master. Okay, so it's 11. And I'm prestige 9 right now, and all my friends are prestige 4 and
this
stuff.
is on the you did most of this on the Xbox 360.
Yes.
Because they didn't have it on the Xbox One.
Or the Xbox.
They don't even have it on the Xbox One anyways.
I thought they did now.
No,
Okay,
they have
so
Call of Duty.
It's Black Ops 3.
Oh, so the version you just bought then is for the Xbox 360, but it's a downloadable one.
Yeah.
Since our disc doesn't work
Yeah.
anymore. Okay, gotcha. So you don't even play this as much as you used to because you play the Xbox One a lot because that's what most people are playing now. But you're still that high of a level because you devoted a lot of time to it before and even after really we got the Xbox One. You still played it quite a bit. Yeah, I already gave my opinion on first-person shooter games. I don't really like them, but I do kind of like watching you play. And I did go over to Brian's house not too long ago, and they convinced me to play one round. I think it was Modern Warfare 3, but same type of deal.
Oh, my God.
And I was horrible. I mean, I am really, really bad at those games.
Or that you were using a sniper?
I don't know. I have no idea. I died. I got last place. There were 4 of us playing. I think I got 3 or 4 kills, and I was killed like 18 times. It was horrible.
I kind of feel the whole way. I'm not really that good at Call of Duty either.
You still have fun with it, though.
Jett,
Sometimes.
you would destroy me. I'm horrible at these games. I just don't get them, and I don't enjoy them. But I like watching, and I can appreciate that other people like them. It seems like, in theory, it would be fun, but when I play, I just do not like it. But I am surprised it's only your number 3. All right, any other thoughts on Black Ops 2? All right, Jett, what do you got for number 3?
My number 3 is Super Mario.
The original?
Yeah, the original one that came out. It is so freaking awesome just playing the original Mario games. Like, compared to the new ones, there's no way it's better.
Yeah, way better.
The original, I'm pretty sure there's more people that like the original than the new one.
And when I looked at the all-time list, Super Mario 1 and 3 were both ranked pretty high. And there were a couple other, like Super Mario World and Super Mario 64.
And Super Mario Maker.
No, not Maker. But those were both also ranked very high. Those games, they stand the test of time. I read that Super Mario 1 was so revolutionary because it was the first game that had perfected the timing of the jump. So you could jump in a game, and it felt like a kind of a real, not real because it's fake, obviously, but like kind of you could adapt to it to be able to get really good at it. Before that, it was difficult. The programmers hadn't figured out how to do it yet. The music is classic. The characters are classic. The advancing from level to level is this was all kind of revolutionary the way they did it back then. And real quick, I'll just tell the story how I got my copy because I never had a Nintendo growing up. When a lot of my friends did, just because it was too expensive. But in 3rd grade, in the middle of 3rd grade...
I think you told me the story.
I think I did too. In the middle of 3rd grade, I moved from Plano, Texas to Pennsylvania, which is a long ways away for a 9-year-old. And like you're 9 right now, Jett. If we picked up and moved all the way across the country in the middle of the school year, so it was right around Christmas time when we left, my dad had gotten a new job. And we went there, and I guess like... I wasn't acting out or anything, but I was pretty bummed about moving. I lived my whole life in Plano, Texas. I was born in Plano, and I lived there until I was 9, and then we moved. And my grandmother, who we call Momo, was, I guess, feeling sorry or wanted to cheer me up a little bit. So for Christmas, she bought us a Nintendo, which was like when you got your Xbox One on your birthday, Kate, I have a video of it, and you were like almost in tears. You were like so excited. That's how I felt when I got my Nintendo, and it came with Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. And those were the games that I played, especially Mario Brothers, with my dad a lot. And I can still sit down and play Super Mario 1 and still have fun doing it. It came out in probably like 85, 86. I didn't start playing it until 89 when I got it, but still... this many years later, 25, 30 years later, it's still a fun game to play, and it says a lot, speaks volumes that 9-year-olds today, like you, Jett, still like playing that game.
Yeah, I could say most gamers at my school, they'll think like, oh, this sucks. You should buy the new Super Mario World 20,000 something. There's a ton of stuff that and like the 3D stuff. They might think it's all, but honestly, it's so much that like it's not good. Like, they've done so much to it that it's not good anymore, and,
It is good, it's just not as good as the original.
Yeah. I could probably still play and have fun with it and be pretty good at it, but I would definitely say I would prefer to play the original one.
Now, I will say that I did grow to love Super Mario Brothers 3 more than 1 over time. Because it's got a
I remember 3.
It's got a very similar gameplay, but you got the little tail that you can fly with, and the levels are a little bit more complex. 1 and 3 are the best ones, but I think 3 is probably my favorite of the Mario franchise.
I really don't know. I'm better at 1 for sure, though.
One is a little bit easier.
I'm trying to put the theme song on a quarter. Like, I'm gonna do it.
Can you give me a little bit of that theme song now?
I know the rest, but I'm gonna save it for the recorder.
Okay, that was really bad. I was hoping for something a little bit better that I could put as our intro. That didn't quite work. All right, any other thoughts on Mario Brothers?
Nope.
Okay.
Never mind.
All right, so we're on my number 3 now. I picked a game from the Super Nintendo from 1992, and I'm going to give you a few clues. Let's see if you can guess what the game is, okay? First, this game set the standard for all fighting games that ever followed.
Street Fighter 2.
You got it. Street Fighter 2. That's all I had to say. The ultimate fighting 1-versus-1 game of all time.
No, Mortal Kombat.
I love Mortal Kombat, but when you start to compare the two, there's no competition. And let me explain to you why. You don't know because you weren't around back then, Jett. This game is considered the most important and the most influential fighting game ever, and here's why. It was the first popular head-to-head fighting game, where one person fought against another one, paving the way for multiplayer and deathmatch modes that are in modern games, okay? It also implemented upgrades and expansions to the arcade game instead of coming out with a sequel, paving the way for patches and downloadable content that modern games now use. It also revitalized the arcade industry in the early 90s that had died off big time since what they call the golden age of the arcades in the early 80s. And it brought the arcades back to popularity to a level they had not seen since Pac-Man. It started packing the arcades again because of this one game. Even more influential was the actual gameplay itself. It introduced combo moves, never been seen before Street Fighter 2, combining several attacks into one. Every fighting game has those now, including Mortal Kombat. Even more than that, even more influential than that, it introduced special moves like Hadouken. Okay, Mortal Kombat's moves that are considered like special moves or attack moves. Street Fighter 2 invented those, really because in every iteration before in the arcade, they were the controls weren't precise enough where you could do them consistently. Street Fighter 2 was the first one that enabled that, so you could repeatedly do special moves, and then it became a standard thing.
I know Street Fighter invented it, but Mortal Kombat perfected it.
I don't think so. I think it still is the gold standard. There has not been a game since Street Fighter 2 that has a better fight mode than the original Street Fighter 2 had. It set the gold standard, and it still is the gold standard. Now, the graphics in today's games are better. Street Fighter 2 looks a little cartoonish, but
actually, I think Street Fighter 2 has better graphics than the first Mortal Kombat.
The first Mortal Kombat was the first to try to do like kind of a virtual reality where they actually look like a video instead of a character. But you're right, it was very grainy and they didn't pull it off. Mortal Kombat 2 looked a lot better. But Street Fighter 2, I mean, okay, when I was a kid, I didn't have this game at first, like every other game. But on top of being influential, it's crazy fun. I remember going to my friends' houses to play this game, and we'd stay up all freaking night just playing Street Fighter 2, taking turns winter stays, right? And we'd rotate, and we could literally play that game for like 12 hours straight, and it was fun the whole time. I was never able to do that with Mortal Kombat. I do love Mortal Kombat, and I'm not trying to diss it in this. It just doesn't really compare to Street Fighter 2 when you go head-to-head.
That's your opinion.
It's fact.
Opinion.
My initial favorite was Guile. He's the guy with the blonde hair that does the cool sweep kick and the sonic boom. But eventually I got really good with Chun-Li, and she stayed my favorite from there on.
Chun-Li's fun to play.
Who's your second?
Guile. But Chun-Li is my favorite.
I don't know if most people like. I like Dolly.
Dawson?
There's a kid at my school named Dolly, so
yeah,
I'm used to saying that. But
Dawson was like everybody's favorite to hate back in the day, but I gotta say he's actually pretty effective if you get good with him.
His long range attacks are like.
I was the
Yoga
best.
Flame.
He's my best guy, but
Really?
he's not my favorite.
I'm actually really good with E Honda, the sumo wrestler.
No, that's Kade. That's
That's
Kade.
me.
You're good with him too.
Oh my god, he's my favorite character. Like I sit in the
But
corner
Dawson
and just
can beat
move
him because when he's doing that, he can stretch his arm out far.
It's all about timing and speed, and for me, Chun-Li was the fastest, and so I could get around everybody else's attacks using her speed. And her her kicks.
How did
Were
you get
powerful on their
past E Honda with Kade?
I don't think you guys have ever come close to beating me in Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was good at this game. I wasn't even great, but I still destroy you guys. You remember Uncle Kyle?
Yeah.
He came over one time and schooled me like we played 20 times. I think he beat me 19 of them. Yeah, he was really good at that game. I was pretty good, but nowhere near his level. It also has really awesome
Kyle was
music.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what game is it? It goes, oh my god.
That is what is that called?
Oh yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I used
it's
to
like
love
a
that
fighting game where it's not one-on-one. You're like battling computer
multiple guys.
Yeah, and you get to a bonus stage where you get to destroy a car.
Yeah, I know that.
Like a pipe. And then you beat the car up, and the guy comes out, runs out of the.
Oh my god! Yeah, I
I know
can't
what
remember
you're
what
talking
it's called.
Final
Fight.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Kid, you didn't. He didn't.
I played it a little bit. I had fun with it.
You
I remember
never
showing
played
it to you guys.
I played it for a lot.
Yeah, I was watching a cartoon, and this one was about there's a bunch of like supernatural things going on in a town, and this guy he accidentally like summons like a video game character who looks like Ryu and can do everything like Ryu, but they include a lot of like different like old school fighting games into that one character. So like he'll be like Hadouken, and then he actually does a final fight scene where he beats the car up.
Yeah,
and it's a new cartoon, and they have like better voice systems and stuff like that. So the guy runs out of so he goes, oh my god, and it sounds
is it just like him?
Just
is it Ryu or Ryu?
Ryu.
Ryu.
I always said Ryu. Ryu is like a new thing to me, but maybe I've always said it wrong.
I think it's Ryu.
I mean, we watched that video on that website, that YouTube site, and like 8 out of 10 people said Ryu, and a couple said Ryu.
I don't remember.
Yeah, most people said Ryu.
Ryu. It's
But
Ryu.
Ryu
Ryu sounds way cooler.
It just doesn't
It's
feel right
Ryu.
because I've always said Ryu, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Cheat code.
Dang it!
Mortal Kombat. I had to put it on here somewhere. I do love Mortal Kombat, and we've played it much more in recent years, and some of the characters are awesome, Sub-Zero in particular, but I just couldn't put it over Street Fighter 2. It's the king. Okay.
Excuse me.
Let's move on. Kade, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Star Wars: The Old Republic. I know someone already put this on their list, but I want to save my
Slow down.
explanation.
Somebody already put that on their list, but...
I'm saving my explanation for right now.
Okay.
This game is probably the most addicting game I know, even though it's not on the top list. It's definitely I got addicted to this game quick, and I really liked it. And I've completed 2 characters so far. And like I say, I have an addiction to spending the currency or credits in the game. I had lots of fun with this game. Like I did the same thing as with Jett, where I'd go around and I just kill guys and animals. And sometimes I'd even do it on the planets so I could get a challenge. I'd go on the planet above me, so I could like get a challenge. And then right when I go back on my other planet to complete the story, I'd already be like a higher level than them. So I do it really well.
Yeah, the Old Republic is super fun, and it should have made my list. And when I get to number 1, you'll find out why I didn't. But really, really fun game. I am not a fan of MMO type games, but this is an MMORPG. So massively multiplayer online role-playing game. And I love RPGs because there's a lot of story involved in them. And that's a big draw for me. I love story, especially a good one. And the Old Republic's predecessor, which I'll get to shortly, had awesome story. So I was really looking forward to the Old Republic. And the thing is, it's kind of a very different MMORPG game because there's a lot more story and dialogue involved in the Old Republic than there are other MMORPGs like Warcraft and some of its other counterparts. So I love the Old Republic. It is very addictive. I think I've also finished 2 characters.
Yeah.
But you've played a lot more than I have in total because you've done other characters where you got to really high level and quit on them, kind of like Jett used to do. My goal was to play all 8 and then do the expansions, all 8 different types of characters, and then do the expansions when
stories, because there's a lot of story into that game.
And then play the expansions when they came out, and they're still releasing expansions now. And I never got to that point, and I still might at some point, but it's a huge time investment. And there are ways to get through it quickly, but I'm not interested in doing that. I like to experience every aspect of the story. But very cool game, very cool story, very fun. You get to control your own destiny, which is always fun. And there's lots of cool things to like discover in the game. You know, datacrons, and they give you special powers that are hidden in very hard.
And sometimes they might explain story too. You can read the descriptions on them.
So yeah, very fun game.
I can tell they put a lot of time into that game.
Yeah.
Like really, for when it came out, really good.
They built it up. Best trailer, hands down, of
no
all time.
doubt. It's the coolest trailer. It looks like a scene from a movie that would make the top charts. Like,
yeah, it really, like, they had 3 trailers, and all 3 of them were awesome. But the first one especially,
oh my God,
where the ship crashed into the Jedi Temple,
and then all the lightsabers turn out once.
30 different red lightsabers turn on, and the guys come out and they have this awesome battle, and the Jedi dies.
I've always wanted that.
And they had the bounty hunter who was like super hot.
Oh,
She's
Vizsla.
Oh, she's hot.
Yeah.
And even in the game when you play, she's still hot.
Hotter in the trailer, though.
Yeah, because they put more time into the trailer.
Yeah.
But any of the character models, I should say.
Yeah.
But, like, anyway, like, the trailers were so cool. Like, whenever I watched the movies first, I was like, man, Jedis and Sith, when they battle, was really cool. I want to see a bunch of them battle at once.
And then you got to see it in the trailer. And then I first saw that, I
was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm going to be addicted to it. Like,
yeah. And it is a very addictive game. And my problem is I just don't have the bandwidth to devote enough time to playing it. Otherwise, I definitely would, because it's worthwhile. It's very fun. Just really, when I do have free time, I like. Lately, it's been baseball cards, and sometimes it's Netflix that I choose instead of playing video games.
Well, we're gonna finish that.
Well, and now it's podcasting, right? This takes a lot of time, so. It's just, maybe when you guys have graduated high school, if that game is still playable, then I'll have more free time and I can go back to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What order? Jett, you're next. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is, Kate's not gonna like this. It is WWE 2K16 because.
So that's the latest version of the WWE game. They come out with one every year.
Yeah.
Since when? Since like 2010 they started?
But they release that game, like it'll be like WWE 2K15, it'll make it in 14 and
that's how almost every sports game is. They release for the upcoming season.
Yeah.
So 16 was released in probably the latter part of 15.
Yeah. It was
November,
released in August.
August, okay.
And I don't really have much to say about it.
You've been playing it a lot. I hear you rage all the time. Can I?
But I'm not raging anymore because I'm starting to play GTA 5 more.
Can I hear an example of how you rage? Hold on, I want to hear Jett do it first.
Sometimes I lose my temper, and sometimes I pick something up and just like hit it with something else, like a basket. One time I got I don't remember what it was, and I just started hitting it, and I was like, dang it.
What I always hear is, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I hear a lot of...
No, that's
That sounds
you.
more like you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm being silly when I do it.
No, you don't.
I don't ever hear Jett make that noise.
He goes, ugh!
Yeah, I hear the groaning. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
You can't have that many reversals, and then a little bit more. Yeah. And then a calm pause and be like, oh.
So have you broken anything?
No, but I left a few scratches on a basket with I remember just trying not to freak out was a machete. One of Kate's machete. I started hitting
See, this is getting dangerous.
Now I'm thinking, I'm like, I was about to say, like, okay, at least he's not collecting knives like I do. He would throw a knife at something and cut himself or something. But then he picks up my machete. I'm like,
Well, let me tell you now for future notice. If you do break or damage anything, the game is gone. Like, you just won't be able to play anymore.
Yeah.
And what do I usually say to you when I hear you raging upstairs?
Stop raging or else you can't play.
That's it. So you either calm down or you walk away because it's just a game. Now, I get the raging. I've punched my fist on tables and wanted to throw controllers before.
Yeah,
my old roommate Evan was borrowing my controller for his PS2 because he broke his and then he broke mine, raging playing a game before. So I know what happens. Just, let's keep it.
You just like have that feeling
at a
where
level
you open
to
up the window and you have the controller like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I've seen like videos of people where like their older brother will be like, or someone will be filming them while they're playing the video game. They'll be like, oh, I've seen it to the point to where they would grab their entire console and beat it with something and then throw it out the window.
Yeah,
like,
see, that's like picking up a machete. That's going too far, right? Okay, I'll move on to number 2 unless you guys... I don't have anything to say about that game. I've watched you play, but I've never played it myself.
I don't want to hate too much on it because I know Jett likes it.
Everybody likes different games. You guys always fight with each other about what's better, what's more popular, what has more sales, what more people are talking about on YouTube, and none of that stuff matters.
But sometimes when we argue, we're not actually arguing, but like play arguing, because we're like, no, yes, no.
Sometimes
yes.
you are, but typically that evolves into a real argument, and then I have to get on to you guys about it.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 2. It's also a Super Nintendo game. And before I get into the game, do you guys know how I got my Super Nintendo?
Didn't you win it somewhere?
Yeah.
You won it. A bow or something like that?
Into the glove.
Yeah. Now, I've told you guys this story once before. I brought it up when I was in Portland. I don't remember how it came up, but I brought it up in Portland when I was visiting my old roommates, and they're like, Chris is telling this story again, which is fine. I guess I tell the story when I drink, maybe. I don't know. But I was in 6th grade, and I played for the Oakland A's baseball team in Texas, though, not in Oakland. And at the end of the season, our coach went to a fair where there were lots of different gaming booths, and he had a gaming booth where there was a stand-up a batter.
Was your coach nice?
Yeah, he was awesome. He was a very good coach too. A stand-up batter and a catcher behind him, and the catcher's mitt was it was on a wooden board, and where the catcher's mitt should have been, there was a hole. So we had to stand however many feet away. He had it marked with a piece of tape and shoot a Nerf bow and arrow through the hole.
Is it so hard?
I didn't have a hard time with it.
Would we?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm pretty
maybe.
accurate.
A lot of the other kids had a hard time with it. I didn't, for whatever reason. I maybe my aim was just on, or maybe I was just good at it. I don't know. But the idea was that throughout the day, you could play as many times as you wanted, and you would accumulate points for how many arrows you shot through the hole. So I played with as much money as I had, and just hoped that it was enough. And then at the end of the day, the top 10 scorers came back for a shoot-off. And my parents had to leave, and I was pretty sure I would have run away if they had made me go with them. So I convinced them to let me stay with my coach, and they could either come pick me up or he would drop me off. I don't remember. But I had to stay to see if I made the top 10 because the prize was a Super Nintendo, which I would never get otherwise. So I stuck around all day. And I did make the top 10, and they had us all line up, and I was the first in line, and we had 5 shots, and whoever did the best out of those 5 shots was the winner. I drilled all 5 right through the center of that catcher's mitt, and all the other kids behind me were like, oh man, now we have to be perfect just to tie. So the next kid came up and he missed his first shot and he was done. The next kid came up and he missed his first shot and he was done. The next kid came up, made his first shot, missed his second shot. I don't think anybody got past the 3rd shot in the list, and that was it. And I won my Super Nintendo, and that
Were you freaking out?
Oh, I was absolutely freaking out. Yes, for sure. Because that was a huge deal for me back then.
What did your parents do? Were they like happy, really happy for
they
you?
were. I mean, I would imagine, because now that I'm a parent, they were probably really happy that I got it and I was happy and they didn't have to buy it, right? Because those things are expensive. So if you guys wanted a PS4, I'd be like, woohoo, I don't have to pay for it, Now we have an Xbox 3 or Xbox One, so you don't really need a PS4, but you get the point.
It's better.
It's better. So this game I played more than any other game on the Super Nintendo. It came out in 1992, and I played it in 1992. My friend Brian had it first, and then I got it. And in 1992, I would be in 6th grade. No, Contra's for the Nintendo. This is Super Nintendo. I would have been in 6th grade. I was still playing this game my senior year in high school, which would have been 6 years later. I'm one of the best in the world at this game. I thought that I was the best in the world. Me and my friend Brian both, because he's very good also. Until I watched this YouTube video where some guys had figured out some weird hack and would have blown me away. But without that hack, I think I could compete in a tournament of this and potentially be the best in the world. What game is it?
Super Mario Kart.
Super Mario Kart.
Oh,
absolutely.
No doubt.
Yeah, so I decided to do some online research to make sure, I told you I wasn't leaving anything out. And I was really pleased to find that all of the choices on my list, with the exception of Lego Star Wars, were in like the top 15 games of all time, and this one was no exception. It's the 3rd best-selling game ever for the Super Nintendo. Number 1 was the Mario game that came with it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what number 2 was. Street Fighter 2 was number 4. So Mario Kart was 3, Street Fighter 2 was 4, to give you an idea of how popular this game was. It grabbed the number 1 ranking all time on the Guinness World Records top 50 console games, and they cited its initial impact and lasting legacy. Because there have been a lot of kart games that have come after it. This was the first one, and it's in the Mario franchise, which helped. But yeah, so it's had a lasting legacy, and it's one of the most highly ranked games. Iconic, yeah. Aside from the all-time rankings and influence, all that stuff is great, but I didn't know any of that when I played it. This was my number 1 game for a very long time until I played the game that's my number 1 now.
Yeah.
I played this game a lot. It started with my friend Brian, who, man, him and I, we go through phases where I'm better and he's better. We always have done that. He found out most of the game's tricks, though, and I learned from him. So on the all-time scale, if they had an all-time list, even though I might have won more times than him, I'd still put myself behind him because I wouldn't have won if he hadn't showed me the stuff he had figured out in the game, like the jump turns and the secret shortcuts you can take when you get like a feather where you can jump and things like that. He discovered all that stuff, and this is pre-internet days. He just did it goofing around and was really good at that. I think if we had kept track of our head-to-head matchups, I've probably won more than he has, but like I said, he was better than me at finding the stuff in the first place.
Well, are you better than him, you think?
Well, if we played now, we'll get together every couple of years and play, and one night I'll win everything, and the next time he'll win everything. It just depends. I also played with my friends Lane and Donnie, and that was in middle school.
Did you beat them?
Yeah, Brian and I were definitely better than they were. But I remember during my senior year, Lane and I would drive to my house we had off-campus lunch. We would drive to my house and stop at Taco Delight on the way. We'd play Mario Kart for the entire duration of the lunch break, and sometimes it would cause us to be late for 5th period physics with Mr. Funkhauser, or maybe miss physics altogether, which I don't recommend, kids. But we would play a lot. He'd get a bean burrito, and I would get a taco plate, and we would play until we were done, and then we'd go back to school. 1v1 race mode was my favorite, and then you could also do the cup racing. If you could do 2-player cup racing, which was fun, and battle mode, which I never liked as much, but some people love battle mode. And I used Koopa Troopa as my character. Do you guys remember any of the characters on that game?
No, I remember Bowser, Luigi, and Mario, and that's it. And Yoshi.
There were in Princess. There were 8 characters, but really there were only 4 different kinds.
Who's your favorite again?
Koopa Troopa or Toad. Koopa Troopa and Toad were the same, basically, and then Mario and Luigi were the same, Princess and Yoshi were the same, and Bowser and Donkey Kong were the same.
Yeah, they're the same characters, like reskins.
Yeah, I didn't understand what you said there. You got to talk slower.
They're the. I heard some of them are they're the exact.
They
same
have the
character.
same. They have the same aspects. They all of the 4 different types, they had different acceleration rates. Some of them would start off really fast and then not have a high top speed. Some of them, like Bowser and Donkey Kong, would start off really slow, but their top speed was really high. Koopa Troopa was in the middle of this.
What does he look like?
He was kind of pinkish and like a turtle. Like the turtles that you jump on. He was one of those guys, a Koopa Troopa.
Did he look awesome?
They all look like cartoons. I mean, but they also turned differently.
Yeah.
Basically, so yeah, but I was really good with Koopa Troopa and Toad, but Brian always picked Toad, so I always picked Koopa Troopa.
Toad.
So y'all be matched up even.
Yeah, we even had the same kind of characters that we were good at.
I want to have you guys ever tied? You guys done the exact same thing, and then at the end you'll just be the same, and then you'll reach the exact same speed, and then tie.
Well, we've come very close to tying, but there's always somebody that's ahead by at least 1/1000th of a second or whatever the timing goes to. But I told you I was good at this game. I've played against adults later in life that also thought they were really good at this game, and then they played me and they realized they weren't. I remember Evan and Nick, my roommates from Arizona, came to my house one summer on a road trip, and I thoroughly demolished them. Evan said he had expected to beat me since he was really good growing up playing that game, and I've heard that a lot. Kyle said the same thing when he thought he was really good at that game. He never came close to beating me. He owned me at Street Fighter, and I thoroughly owned him at Mario Kart. So thanks to Brian though, because he's the one who really got me good at that game. So cheat code.
Cheat code.
This is a top 10. Is this a top 10 list?
More than top 10 for me. So this is another stretch, but I'm going to count Mario Kart as a sports game because you race. And I wanted to have some other sports games on my list, but I didn't have room on my top 5. So I'm going to pick I'm not going to go into detail, but for baseball, Ken Griffey Jr.'s baseball for the Nintendo with the home run derby that Jett, or Super Nintendo, sorry. Jett, you and I played that recently,
Yeah.
and you had fun playing it, right? It was pretty fun.
Yeah, you owned me.
Yeah, I did. And then RBI Baseball and Bases Loaded, which we also played, Jett, is pretty fun. I forgot to show this to you in Bases Loaded. You know, if you bean the batter, you could make him charge the mound.
Being the batter.
Like if you hit him with the ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't know. I've never seen another baseball game where you can do. Maybe the modern ones you can. I don't know. I haven't played those, but that was a really cool thing when I was a kid.
I want to try that.
For football, I'm going to take any version of NCAA football, which was really the only video game I played for like almost a decade. I would buy every version that came out every year, and I'd play it a lot in college, and it was the only video game I played. And that should have made my list, but it's fallen way down and these other ones have stayed up higher, so I didn't put it on. And lastly, I got to include this sports game. It didn't make my list somehow, but it should have. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Love that game. Mike Tyson was bigger than life back then, and this game perfectly captured that in the gameplay. Super fun, awesome music, still playable. And yeah, so that would be my number 2
Wasn't he, like, really hard to fight?
cheat code. Yeah, Mike Tyson is pretty hard to fight. They all have like a secret that if you can figure it out, you can beat them. Mike Tyson, though, if you get hit once, you're done.
I know. I figured out this. I haven't figured out the secret like on my own, but because I'm like not that good to go all the way to Mike Tyson. Watch the YouTube video. You just have to dodge like rapidly. It's like really hard.
But if he hits you one time, you're done.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty hard.
if you can figure out how to dodge his punches and then counter punch, you can beat him. That's basically every fight. You just have to counter punch. But
Dodge.
they all have different attacks, though.
I'm surprised this is not on your list. I really am.
Well, it's on my cheat code list. All right, let's move on to our number 1, Kade.
My number
I already
one.
know. Destiny.
Okay, yeah, it's got to be Destiny. Destiny, oh my gosh, I haven't been playing it for as long as my other games, but I have loved it. Like, so addictive, and I've gotten pretty lucky in the game. Like, there's this one gun you can get
Hold on. Is it a first-person shooter?
sometimes.
Yes,
Okay.
it is a first-person shooter for sure. Definitely, not sometimes. Definitely.
Is it kind of like, is it compared to like Halo? would you
Yes,
say?
it's like Halo.
Okay.
You're more in third person than you are in Destiny than you are much more in Halo.
Okay.
There's a lot of parts that you'll be.
The reason I'm asking is because like I tried to get into Halo because I've heard the story's awesome, and I actually enjoyed playing it for like the 20 minutes that I did, but I just don't have the time. And Destiny, when it was being released, I thought, man, this game looks really cool, and you were not into it at all until much later. I was going to
Why
buy it
didn't
for
you
you.
buy it? Why didn't you buy it for yourself?
When do I ever play games?
Well, back then, maybe you played a lot of video games.
No, not really. I mean, I would like to, and if you guys were really into it, and now you finally are, maybe I should try it, but I don't want to do it if I'm going to get the same experience that I had in Battlefront, where I just don't know what's going on at all.
It's not your type of game. For sure, it's not.
Okay, Jett's just saying all this because he, for some reason, absolutely hates Destiny. He thinks it's a terrible game. There's nothing to it.
This is a bit of that brotherly love that we were talking about earlier. That you hate WWE because he loves it, and he hates Destiny because you love it.
Yeah.
There's too much stuff going on the screen. You can't even tell what's going on.
Okay, so basically,
Well, tell me why you love it, though. There's a gun.
Yeah. So basically, this is a gun called the Grasp of Malik. So, I should start off with
Called the what?
Grasp of Malik, like the grasp, like you're holding
Okay.
something of Malik.
Okay.
Malik is a big character in the game. And Malik is only a part, like a hand. He's a will, the will of Crota, and the Crota is the son of Oryx.
So this is definitely Star Wars influenced. How do you spell will? Is it W-I-L-L or W-H-I-L-L?
Will.
Okay, never mind then.
He-
Because Malik is a Star Wars name,
Yeah.
and the wills were like what George Lucas was calling the Force at first.
Yeah. And so I could go into detail on this and spend an hour, but I'm not. Okay, so basically, big boss guy wants to kill Earth, and he's from another planet. Because we were advancing in the future, we discovered technologies. We just did a ton of stuff. Okay, and we tripled the human race, so we had to move over to other planets that were movable, that were able to sustain human life. And Oryx comes and he goes, "Oh, you guys have pretty cool land. I want to take your stuff, so die." And he, honestly, in Snap, he could just kill everybody. But, he was like, this is kind of fun playing with them. And so he had a son, Crota, who eventually died, but he brought back to life, but not a much powerful version. And so there's parts of Crota you fight. You fight the hand of Crota, the will of Crota, the power of Crota.
Okay, so the will is like
Part of him.
our use of the word will in our language.
Yes.
In other words, okay. So, okay, you've explained a bit of this to me before. It does sound like it has a very interesting story. Do you also play online against other people, or is it more of the story mode?
Crucible. It's it's a more online game than story.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I heard if this guy completed all the missions, there's only a few people who have completed all of the missions in the entire game. I heard there's thousands of missions in the game, and they all have a different storyline starting with someone else.
Then why did you say
so? Would you?
You said you
would you say
completed
it's
the story 2 times?
Would you say
I
it's
completed the main story?
comparable to the Old Republic in the gameplay, like at least the way that
Yeah.
the missions and story are tied
there's
together?
a main story, and then there's a bunch of side stories
Okay.
that branch on.
See, I can deal with games like that, and if it's third person, I can, like the Old Republic is, I can do that a little bit better.
It's not as you think it is. It's not
I could at least give it a shot.
Yeah, you can give it a shot, but it's not.
Yeah, I've gotten really lucky in the game, and so that's why I played it a lot. And again, it's one of those games, I don't know how, I level up so quickly on it. Even my friend Dylan, complete master at the game. He got it right when it came out. He doesn't like it anymore because it's 2 years now, so he's kind of grown off of it. So, but he even said that in the time that I've played it, I have gotten incredibly skilled for what I have done
Yeah.
in the game.
I think now that I'm thinking about everything I've said about my games, I'm coming off like I'm a really good gamer. And that is not the case at all. Like, I'm not very good at video games in general. But there are 2 of the games on my list that I feel like I'm very good at. So
What about...
they both happen to be on my
I know
list.
an iOS game that you know this one. It's
Oh,
Hoppy Frog.
Hoppy Frog. I am very good at Hoppy Frog.
I've
Maybe
never
the best in the world.
Honestly, I have never seen a high score. I've seen people. I even Googled it and I even YouTubed it, and people's kids and
I tried to
adults saying,
Google it, too.
I got 78.
And I found one guy on YouTube, and he had a bunch of views that had like 280. My score was like 670 or something. Like, I was way past.
714.
Oh, was that
But on the
highest
top,
one?
somebody got 7,000.
I couldn't find that anywhere. I tried to look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like on the top, if you look
That's
at the
not on
leaderboards.
Hoppy Frog. That may be on Hoppy Frog too. The first one didn't have a leaderboard because I tried to look for it.
Yeah,
I tried to submit
here-
my score and there wasn't anywhere to do it.
Hobby Frog 2 was the one who had all that stuff.
No.
The Hobby Frog.
Yeah, you're right. I was very good at that game. I'm pretty good at games that are like require quick
Jumping.
reactions. No, quick reactions like Dr. Mario. Like games like that, even Tetris, like they require you to move quickly and think quickly. I'm good at those kind of games.
Guys are smart.
Well, just I don't know what it
Yes,
is.
you are. You're smart and don't deny it.
Well, thank you, Jett. I appreciate that.
That's true.
Okay, so that's your number 1, Destiny, Jett.
GTA
Your
5.
Number
I
1.
didn't discuss about this because I wanted to save it for later. You can do anything you imagine. Seriously, like give me a suggestion. I'll probably have it in the game. GTA 5 mods.
Eat tacos.
Yes, there's definitely a mod.
No,
for
like
that.
really eat tacos.
Not in real life.
Oh, see, I don't like it then.
What?
Could you make the game grow legs and walk around?
We get your point. So it's a free environment where you can roam and basically do almost anything
And accomplish.
within the construct of the game. Yeah, so I don't like games like that, and I've talked to you about that
But
before.
it has a good story though.
If it has a good story, that's one thing, because I enjoy story. I would rather live in real life and do things than... I guess there's some things you can't do in real life, like drive a car 100
And
miles
run
an hour.
over people
run
and shoot people and
But
rob banks.
to me, that's just
Be a
like
superhero.
a big time kill. But we all have different ways that we like to kill time. It's just not my thing. I'm not criticizing you for it. It's just not... doesn't interest me. Is there any other reason you like it as your number 1 aside from the free environment?
No.
Okay.
Oh, this is our longest episode.
Yeah, I know. That's because of my cheat codes. All right, so let's move on to my number 1 then if we're ready.
Are there
Do you have another cheat code?
There might be. This one is not really a cheat code like my other ones were, though. This is like...
And we have to draw at least anyways.
yeah, you're right. Okay, well, let's get this moving because our listeners are probably like...
Yeah, let's go.
"Come on, wrap this up."
All
All right, my number 1 is an Xbox/PC game. It came out in 2003.
What is it?
Kate already knows what it is.
Oh, no, duh.
I didn't play it, though, until 2008. It is Knights
Oh,
of the
of
Old
course I know.
Republic, which is a Star Wars game. a coworker of mine and a fellow Star Wars fan kept telling me, you got to play this game. It's on the Xbox, but I didn't even own an Xbox because I didn't play games at all during this time of my life. So he lent it to me along with his Xbox, and I told him I'd get around to it, but it didn't happen. It just stayed in a box in my room for months. Then, I was busy with work, and I had 2 little boys to spend my free time with, and video games, much like now, were just very low on my priority list. Then I got really, really sick one week. I'd been battling something for about a week, and it kept getting worse, and like an idiot, I refused to go to the doctor, and I came home one day, and I nearly collapsed, and your mom had to rush me to the ER clinic because I was very sick. My fever was over 104, which for an adult is really, really high. I ended up having pneumonia, bronchitis, and 2 inner ear infections, one of which was severe.
Dang.
Yeah, I was really, really sick. So much so that you boys had to both go with your mother to grandma's house, and you stayed there for a week. And we were, that wasn't when she lived half an hour away. She lived 4.5 hours away. Mm-hmm. And I had to have a week to recover and to not get anybody else sick. That next week, though, changed my life in 2 very profound ways. Number 1, I grew my first full beard instead of just the goatee because I did not get out of bed to do anything, especially shave. And I've had it ever since. So that was, 8 years ago? I've had a beard since then. Also, number 2, I spent 60 hours playing and defeating Knights of the Old Republic. That's basically all I did for 7 days. I slept a lot, and when I was awake, I was playing Knights of the Old Republic. The story is downright amazing, highly addictive. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't played, including you two, because at some point I do want you guys to play.
I will. I heard aren't they going to release it again?
There's a company that's remaking it and kind of revamping it for today's computer systems, and it's supposed to be free when they're done, but I guess they've been working on it for a long time, and there's no timeline of when they're supposed to finish. So I don't know. Now, we do have it on the iPad. You could play it there, but it's not quite the same experience. But for me, the story is so good that I would honestly say it's better than the movies. And I love the Star Wars movies. So I'm saying quite a bit when I say it's better. I was hooked. So in addition to that, it spawned Revan, the character, and he's one of the most beloved by fans from the expanded universe. His action figure sells for hundreds of dollars.
And I have one.
You have one. I have one too. Kylo Ren's design is loosely based on Revan, but not as cool.
Not nearly as cool. Like right when it came out, and I went back to school, and me and my friend that were both addicted to Star Wars were like, okay, that was Revan, but not nearly as cool. Like they could have given him like a purple lightsaber, but they couldn't because they didn't want to go to Revan's universe. So
so not as cool. But as far as RPGs goes, the system is dated as far as fighting and the dialogue system, but it's still worth a play for any Star Wars fan or really any RPG fan. This game won 40 different Game of the Year awards in 2003.
Wow.
Yeah. So cheat code is very simple on this one. Knights of the Old Republic 2. The sequel, The Sith Lords.
I don't talk about it.
Super fun, also amazing. Not as good as the first one, but it's close. And I spent another 60 hours in 1 week playing and defeating that one. The Old Republic, which is why I didn't include it on my list, is kind of the sequel to those, a very long-awaited sequel. It disappointed a lot of fans because it went the MMO route instead of saying truly RPG. And it's 300 years later, so it's not directly the same storyline. But it's still awesome, and I don't like MMOs, but there's more than enough RPG in this game to make it have an awesome story. And we talked about how you guys played it and the memories I have associated with that. So, that is my cheat code for number 1.
All right, let's move on to the
honorable mentions. Honorable mentions.
Or least.
Honorable mentions. And it's not called least. You need to learn how our show is structured, Jett. It's called The Worst. But we haven't gotten there yet. Honorable mentions. Kade, you got any?
The complete saga, but we already talked about it.
Okay.
Halo 5, because I haven't played it much, but I'm over to my friend's house to play it just for a little bit, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Master Chief is a really cool character.
Yeah.
Seems to have really interesting storylines. Like I said, I tried to get into it. Jett, you got any honorable mentions?
Not that I can think of.
I got a bunch, so I'm just going to run through them quickly. We talked about some of these already. Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, Contra. Track and Field for the original Nintendo came with a track pad, which was like a square that was pretty big and it had circles on it, and you could step on it and make your character run by running on the track pad.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Really cool back then. I mean, they have Kinect and all these other things now that kind of make it not necessary, but for back then, really, really cool. The Super Scope was kind of similar to that, which I have the Super Scope upstairs still. Mario Paint, which is the one with the mouse that you would plug into the
and
Nintendo.
you played that song.
I wrote a song on that I wish I could have say. I had actually written the notes down somewhere on a piece of paper when I was in 6th grade, and I don't have that anymore. But it was a really good song. Blades of Steel, Arch Rivals, and NBA Jam were some more sports games that were fun.
Jam.
Yeah, that one was cool because it was kind of cartoony, but it was an arcade game, and their heads were really big. And if you hit 3 shots in a row, you were on fire, and the ball would light up and catch the net on fire. Arch Rivals was a basketball game where you could punch your opponent. Really cool. And Blades of Steel was hockey. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, super fun game.
On the Wii?
No, this is from when I was a kid. Nintendo. Paperboy and Excite Bike were more Nintendo games that were fun. Star Fox was a really fun Super Nintendo game. Zelda, I was a little late to the Nintendo party, so Zelda had already come and gone at its peak of popularity, so I never really got into it. But man, like the number one game on most of the lists I looked at when I was doing research was a Zelda game that was
we tried
from 1998.
Yeah.
Legend of Ocarina or something like
we-
that.
That's definitely the most popular Zelda game.
we tried the first Zelda and this
It's
year,
hard.
and it's hard, but it's good. Like,
Yeah, it's fun, and
it
the
could
music
be
is
good
cool. I think we
Music
should
is awesome.
we should try it more because I would love to get into that series at some point.
It's kind of. I feel like it's kind of Kade's type of game.
Yeah, you probably like it.
I probably like it a lot. Oh, can I have an honorable mention? I
Go
forgot.
for it.
Pokemon Go. Okay.
Sing the song.
I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Out of breath.
Pretty good.
Alright,
Not much of a singer, more much of a dancer.
Pokemon Go is stupid. Pokemon is stupid. Always think of that. All they would agree.
Have you tried it?
No, but well, it's good. I know it's gonna be a stupid game, and the names are so stupid. And I tried to watch one episode of Pokemon, and I thought it was absolutely.
I haven't tried it. I've
retarded.
never seen Pokemon, but I still kind of want to try the game because everybody loves it, except for the people who hate it. Let me put it that way. The last one I had on my honorable mention is Wolfenstein 3D, which was this game that they let us play in school. What I still don't get. It's a World War II game where you go around and you shoot and kill people in kind of like a maze type, like a Doom maze type environment. And the end of the game, you fight Hitler, who's like a robot Hitler, and you try to kill him. I don't know why they let us play this in school, but they did, and it made my honorable mention.
I
list
remember
because
when
of that.
website went around school, teachers didn't know about it. We kept it a secret. Everybody played on. Even girls went on it. You know, they only play like some other games that no one cared about. People still play it now because they took away the website that we went on called Unblocked Games. Oh, you could play everything on there. Most guys played Happy Wheels, which is a very it's a fun game. It's a hard game, I should say. It's hard, bloody. It's pretty bloody, but it's like animated blood. So
Yeah.
and then they had Call of Duty on it. We were playing Call of Duty, but we turned the volume all the way down, so we just.
So you didn't get caught. All right, let's move on to the worst. Kade, what is the worst video game?
The worst video game. I know. I could never get around to play it. I've tried very many times. And I gotta say, it's one of the least popular ones and most hated. Is Call of Duty Ghost. So...
I just said thank God.
I thought
he had like the biggest sigh of relief off microphone.
I thought.
Oh, thank God.
I thought you were gonna say WWE 2K16, and if you said that, I would say, it can't be your least favorite. You played it.
Well, he didn't say it, so you don't have to make this argument.
Come on, Jett. I want to talk.
It's your least favorite, and you only played it once, and
Okay, but he didn't say it was his least favorite.
fine,
So he
fine.
said Ghost.
Okay, it was so hyped. Everybody was so awesome.
Yeah, we pre-ordered it for you.
Had,
I remember.
They had Eminem for like the cover. The preview was cool. Not nearly like
It's the one that came out after Black Ops 2.
yeah.
In the timeline of releases. So Black Ops 2 was a big success. A lot of people were looking forward to Ghost, and it kind of flopped.
Actually,
Kinda like
people
Star
were
Wars.
looking forward to it because it was released by Sledgehammer, which is an Infinity Ward, which did the Modern Warfare, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, such good games. Like they're in the top chart. Like they're the top Call of Duties. The Black Ops 2 recently surpassed, I think, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But yeah, this game was so hyped. Like everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, the trailer looks so cool." I was like, "Nuh-uh, Star Wars: The Old Republic had way better than trailers." I'm like, "Guys, you guys don't even know what you're talking about." And I was like, "This looks kind of cool. I kind of want to play it." And they got on, and everybody plays Call of Duties now for the multiplayer. No one cares about campaign. People play zombies.
That's not true.
Well, Black Ops 3 recently had the worst campaign ever.
You did 3 missions, and then you stopped playing, and you said it was okay, and now you're taking it to bed.
You had to go into nightmares.
Okay, we need to wrap this up.
Okay, so basically, people went into multiplayer, and they were like, "This is terrible. What is this? It's such a dull game. There's no all the colors are gray and black and brown, and it's not fun to play. And also, they had the biggest maps ever.
Yeah.
And everybody was hyped about Nuketown, which is a very popular Call of Duty map, and Hijacked and stuff like that. Rust, which is another. You guys don't know that one,
nope.
But there's small maps. Everybody loves them. Whenever the maps come up through, I'm going for this one. This one's the best because it's small. Big maps takes a while. You don't get as many kills because you have to search around, and it's huge. And there's not as many. There's 6 people on one team, so walking around a giant map gets kind of boring. Okay.
Yeah, I like big maps because
because you don't get killed as often.
No, because you
that's why I would like it if I were playing.
Yeah, and also you have more spots to shoot from. Also.
Okay. Well, Jett, what is your worst video game?
I'm not sure what it's called, but it's this Star Trek arcade, and when it's very hard to move, and you can't really I don't even know how to shoot. Why would you even
play it? You're betraying the.
He's probably picking it as his worst because it is Star Trek.
Okay, yeah.
And also it's hard to move and shoot, and it might have came out it looked like it didn't come out
Is this an arcade game?
Yeah,
okay.
And it's really.
Well, I've never seen it, so I can't really comment on it. Well, I'm
it's
surprised
really
that you didn't include on your list the Terminator arcade game that you play every time we go to any arcade for the past 10 years. Salvation.
Yeah, Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, I'm not good at it.
Oh.
It's hard. It's a hard
but
game.
you always play it. All right, my worst was pretty easy for me, and anybody my age listening to this is going to want to kick me in the shins for saying this. I picked GoldenEye. It's another first-person shooter. It was insanely popular when I was in college. Everybody played it. There was a mode where 4 people could play at once, and you had a split screen, and you basically walked around trying to shoot each other like Call of Duty. And I hated it. I was always horrible at it. I never liked it. I always felt like I was just running around and getting shot, and sometimes getting lucky enough to shoot somebody else without really having any skill or strategy involved. To me, so these type of games never appealed to me. This one was the first one that I was exposed to. Maybe the first one that was popular like this, and I still don't like them. So that's my worst.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way sometimes when I'm playing. There's no skill or strategy to some Call of Duties.
Yeah, I'm sure there is strategy involved because there are people who are better than other people at these games, so there has to be some skill to it. It's just I never was interested in mastering that skill. Any other final thoughts before we wrap up?
COD Go sucks.
Okay.
Not true.
Well, thank you to everybody for taking the time to listen. Please check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/5to1podcast or tweet us at 5to1podcast. Did you guys know we have Twitter now?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't even go on Twitter.
Well, I do now. I just started today when I tweeted out our first episode. Give us your opinions there. Let us know what your favorite game is or what your least favorite game is or what games we left off that we absolutely should have put on our list. We want your opinion. It's also a great spot to leave us ideas for future episodes. Also, please take the time to give us a review on iTunes. This is important for the exposure of our podcast. We welcome any feedback, but especially the good kind. You can also write to us at 5to1podcast@gmail.com. Just like the Facebook page, 5 and 1 are numbers. They're not spelled out. And we have a website, 5to1podcast.com. So there are lots of ways to get a hold of us. Pick any of them. We would love to hear from you. I actually got some great feedback today on our Facebook page.
Really?
Yeah, really cool comment. I don't want to take the time because we're way over right now on our time. But next time I'll pull it up and I'll read it for everybody because it was really nice. So, Jett, please join us next time on 5 to 1 for our discussion on We will figure that out at another time. I have a list of like 80 topics that we can pick from.
Okay.
I tell you what. We're in the middle of a presidential election right now between Trump and Hillary. A lot of people are not happy about the two options that are out there. So let's do 5-to-1 presidents.
Yeah, best and worst.
Well, you got to pick one for the worst.
I can't. I don't even know more than 5 presidents. I don't think.
Well, if you know at least 5, then you can make a list.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks, guys.
Love you. I love you.